Hi everyone, so the case that I'm briefing today is Heimermann versus Boyer. Um, the citation is 238 Southwest 3249. For the background, the ex-wife filed a petition requesting that the length of ex-husband's summer visitation be reduced. The circuit court in Davidson County dismissed the petition and the ex-wife appealed. The ex-wife made a prima facie case showing that a material change circumstances had occurred as required to modify ex-husband's summer visitation, and whether it was in the best interest of the children to modify the ex-husband's visitation after finding of material change in circumstances would be made only after ex-husband had been given the opportunity to present his evidence. So the opinion was delivered by William Koch and joined by William Kane and Frank Clement Jr. The appeal involves a custody and visitation dispute arising more than a decade after the parents were divorced. During the school year, the mother would keep the children, and in the summer, the father would keep the children. The children had a growing dissatisfaction with this arrangement, and their mother filed a petition in the circuit court for Davidson County requesting that the father's summer visitation be reduced. The trial court dismissed the petition at the close of the mother's case on the ground that she had failed to prove that a material change in circumstances would warrant a revision in the custody arrangement. After the mother appealed, the appeals court determined that the changing needs of the children related to their growing older constitute a material change in circumstances. They reversed the dismissal of the mother's petition and remanded the case for further proceedings consistent with this decision. The decree provided that the parties would share custody, and they had a whole arrangement of certain days, certain times, hours, who made the appointments. But as the years went on, the children became increasingly hesitant about spending the entire summer with Mr. Heimermann, their father. Eventually, in response to the children's reluctance to continue to spend the entire summer with their father, Mrs. Boyer filed a petition in the Circuit Court for Davidson County requesting a modification in summer visitation. Mr. Heimermann moved to dismiss the request to modify the summer visitation on the grounds that no material change of circumstances had occurred since the entry of the divorce case from 10 years prior. Mr. Heimermann moved for a directed verdict at the close of Mrs. Boyer's case in chief. The trial court granted the motion based on the conclusion that there had been absolutely no specific change of circumstance at all that was not foreseeable. Accordingly, the trial declined to change their custody agreement, and Mrs. Boyer appealed. Mrs. Boyer asserts that the trial court erred by concluding that she had failed to establish the material changes in the parties and the children's circumstances had occurred during the 10-year period between the entry of the parties' divorce decree and the filing of her petition to modify the existing custody arrangement. So the court held that Mrs. Boyer did make a prima facie case showing that there had been material change in the children's circumstances during the past 10 years, but that didn't end the matter. The existing custody and visitation agreement should only be modified if the children's best interests were to do so. The visitation agreement, the trial court's visitation agreement decision was reversed, and her child support was increased accordingly. The case was remanded for further proceedings consistent with this opinion, so it was sent back to a trial court for further investigation.